Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. And if you're celebrating Easter, happy Easter to you. I am back with round 4 commentary of this year's Space Coast Open Chess Festival. And before we get started into the games, I thought we would check, as usual, the standings. You guys remember from yesterday, we only had one person who won yesterday's round 3, and that is Grandmaster Zhuzhan Chao. He's leading with 3 points, and he's going to be paired against Marvin Gao. From number 2 till number 7, we have players with 2.5 points. They're of course going to play each other, and then quite a number of players with 2 points, 6 to be more exact. So it's going to be interesting to see how the tournament will finish. Of course, it's much easier when you're playing a tournament as the number 1 seed, maybe with quite a bit of rating difference, but that doesn't mean anything. You still have to play your best. You still have to find a way to win the games. And we'll see how Grandmaster Zhuzhan Chao will do, whether he will score 5 out of 5, or maybe he will leave a draw on the way. Maybe someone can still find their way to take a full point. But that remains to be seen. Let us go to the games directly and get started with today's round 4 analysis. I tried to start a bit later, as you guys already know. The reason for that is because we get a 10 to 15 minute delay for the games to show up for us, and of course, we don't know way too much. We want to have some interesting things to talk about from the beginning. So it looks like both players, Marvin Gao and Zhuzhan Chao, might be a bit late to the game, might have been a bit late. So we'll have to wait on that game. On board 2, we also had one e4, and still waiting for the opponent to show up. Let's check out board 3. Jacori playing against Raymer Scott. They started as a Spanish with d3. Well, actually, yeah, he's trying to avoid the Berlin, basically, in a way, right? Because if you castle here, it's not quite the Berlin, but black has the opportunity to take, and then we see d4 being played, b5. The bishop goes back to b3, and then black typically plays d5, so white gives up the pawn temporarily, but eventually will take advantage of the e-file being opened. So white decided to keep that pawn protected, d3, d6, and now black plays with g6. Okay. I think I haven't seen this system that much. Personally, I like to play with bishop e7, but it's a bit tricky because white played d3 here, which means that now you can change your mind. You didn't place the bishop in e7. I guess technically he could have, but if he does do this now, I think there's some ideas of bishop takes c6. Maybe it's not here. I feel that there could be here. Takes with the b pawn, d pawn. It doesn't matter because in the end this pawn will be hanging, and black will not be happy to have given up material. So after d6, c3, rook e1. Okay, that's part of the plan. The bishop goes directly to b2. That's the cool thing about playing c3 earlier, or black not playing b5 immediately, that white has the opportunity to retreat directly to c2, so that might save him a tempo. And this is the current position they're having. It's actually quite interesting that the bishop is here, because typically you need to spend a bit of time to get your bishop into g7, right? Black usually puts it in e7, then they castle, they go rook e8, and then they switch over. But this way, he's done it directly, so now he doesn't need to waste time to go back. This might be interesting. Obviously, white's plan is going to be with d4. The question now for black is, where do you want to develop your bishop in c8? Obviously, you can put it in b7 or you can put it in g4. If you put it in g4, h3 will certainly be played, and you'll have to decide whether you want to give up your bishop. But personally, when the knight is here, I wouldn't want to give up my bishop pair, so I'd rather put it in b7. And then, of course, we could try to figure out a way to maybe go d5. So this is quite early in the game. Still moves to be played, still plans to be prepared. Let us catch up with Theodore Slade. Theodore has had a very interesting game yesterday against Zhu Zhangchao. Almost held it with a rook and a pawn versus the two minor pieces, but in the end, the two minor pieces prevailed, and that made Zhu Zhangchao as the leader of this tournament. It looks like for today's game, Theodore decided to go for the exchange Slav. Bishop f4. Okay, these are typical moves, and for those of you who don't understand the move a6, so whenever there's a bishop in f4, black is trying to stop knight b5, knight c7, so it's imperative that you play a6. You're also stopping the bishop going to b5, pinning you with the follow-up of knight c3, knight e5. So that's the reason why you would see black play this move for quite a bit, actually, in these positions. Okay, so bishop e2. I'm a bit surprised of this choice because people tend to put the bishop here to avoid allowing black from developing the bishop in f5. Obviously, bishop g4 is still an option. And then we see either knight e2 or queen b3. But you don't need to worry about these two pawns because you have knight a5. And if they check you, you can go b5. No sacrifice is going to work here. The bishop is not locked. The knight can also go to d7. So this is what black would like to do. He would be happy with that. So I think I've seen white either play f3 here or knight g2. Simply block the attack and then proceed with the development. Queen b3 might be played later when you know you're not so worried about the knight going to a5. Okay, let's catch up with the other boards. Ooh, Sicilian. We got the Sicilian and one of those attacking ones. Nice. I'm glad. Knight c6, bishop g5, e6. I think this is the Richter-Rauser, if I'm not mistaken. Queen d3, bishop e7. So what's the point of queen d3? Well, when you place the queen here, of course, you maintain your knight still protected. You're keeping that pawn protected as well to avoid specific sacrifices. But you're also kind of looking at bringing the queen on the other side of the board too. It's kind of a flexible move here with white, and you usually see the queen going through f3, g3, or h3, but with the knight still hanging, you cannot do that. So that's the reason why you play here, and then you will castle long, the knight will be protected by the rook, and then the queen can switch over wherever it pleases. But first, it needs to make sure the knight is protected, unless you want to take in c6, which is an option as well, of course. So castle and h4, and black played h6. He's not scared. He's not scared at all. Okay. I was thinking more like black would try to, you know, maybe take in d4 and then maybe some a6 and then b5 or something, you know? Or develop the bishop and rook c8 and then queen a5. These types of moves are very typical for black in this position, and no, he's not worried about the capture here, because even if you get to take that pawn, black will eventually get it back, because he has this opportunity to take the knight in c3, and then this pawn would be hanging, and even if it's not hanging, he will have plenty of compensation considering those c-pawns would be doubled. So I think this might be something that black can consider doing. But in this situation, he played h6, and this is quite surprising to me. And the reason I say that is because white has remained with the rook on the h file, right? And so if the rook didn't move, if the rook is still there, then this doesn't make sense, right? Because the rook will be open when you take. So that could only be helping white, in my opinion. So he can leave the bishop there because you won't be able to take it. You may think that you can, but nope, you cannot. But what do we do? Because we need a helpful move and useful move here for white. Bishop e2 might be something to consider, but I don't know how helpful it is for any kind of attack or such. Okay. Maybe he will take. I really want to see this. I mean, we need to see it if it really leads to some mates. I don't quite see it yet. Hi Shark, I'm not playing. I'm doing commentary right now, so I'm not taking any challenges. Sorry about that. Okay. What to do here with black? We don't have a good placement to move the knight. If we move the knight, then I think white's gonna start a pawn march here. F4 first to protect g5. That's very important. You need to make sure that pawn gets protected. And after that, you will have to bring in your queen. Maybe you bring it this way. Maybe you go g6 at some point. Like, for example, if black tries to follow up with some attack, you just bring the queen back, queen e3 or queen d3. And I'm putting it on e3 out of instinct because when you have a bishop left only, then you definitely want your queen on the opposite color and just bring it, you know, that way. I don't think that black can defend in this position too easily. So he cannot take the bishop, but maybe he can do something different in this case. Or maybe he can take the bishop. No, I don't like it. I don't like it for sure. What about if I go e5? You bring in the queen, but where do you bring it? Because that's covered. The square is covered, so I want to go here. I think this might work because this was an important move. You might have wondered why I played it. Well, first to see if you go queen e3, which now I realize that in this specific case maybe queen d3 is in order. But I think I can still do this because the queen cannot go to h3, and then this pawn is gonna be hanging since e5 takes over f4. This is quite a nice move, actually. White will have to think very well how they're gonna do to deal with that bishop being attacked. The point is, if you go back, knight g4 will happen, and Sicilian, like other openings, the dark square bishop is pretty important for the attack, for kind of keeping the position safe. You usually don't want to give up that bishop. Also, that would give black some space, maybe the bishop on the diagonal, and it might be better placed in f6 than it would have been if it was in g7. So we'll be back to that game. Let's catch up with the final one and start over and see if the top players on board one have come to the game. So we had some classical Sicilian transposing into a dragon. All right, bishop g7. Oh, it's simple. It's simple. It's a simple game with a short castle. I don't see these much. I see a lot of people being very aggressive and wanting to attack, wanting to go queen d2, long castle. There's quite a bit of theory I've studied for a while because I was quite interested at some point to play the dragon with the black pieces. I remember I was 14, 15. I decided that I'm gonna study everything on my own. So I actually prepared all the openings, everything, and I was really getting ready to play against the Sicilian. Took me a little bit of time, but I remember I had studied it for black, and I lost quite a bit of games. I don't feel ashamed to say it. That's how it worked. It didn't work out very well for me, but such is life, you know. You gotta lose sometimes to learn things better. You know why? Because losing is part of the game. Losing is part of the game, and you know, I saw this this video at some point by Grandmaster Ben Feingold, and it was kind of sad but inspiring too. He said something like, "You're gonna lose, and you're gonna keep losing, and tomorrow you'll lose again, and there will be another game, and you're gonna lose, and that's how you get to be stronger." He said it, of course, in different words, but it's basically the idea. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say is that, you know, losing in chess should not put you too down. It should be part of your growth as a chess player and helping you to get better. So anyways, for me, it's been just tough at the time. I remember I lost, I don't know how many games, but quite a bit, that it made me decide that I want to give it up, which I'm not proud of that I gave it up, because you shouldn't let some small things like losses affect your decision on what it is that you want to do. You'll have lots of difficulties in your life, difficulties in the game that drag you down from achieving your goal. So, you know, the growth happens when you actually accept it and continue moving forward. But we don't always do that, and that takes us down. Now here, bishop d7 was played, and yeah, these positions are more quiet, so to speak. White will probably focus on trying to see if he can somehow get a5 in, maybe take control over b6 square, maybe switch into some Maruti bind kind of setup. If he could, that would be ideal. But definitely I would like to see some a5, knight a4, knight b6. I think in these positions, sometimes this rook goes here. You can switch over the bishop. I've seen the queen going to f2, all for the control of the b6 square. Just kind of switch around. There's nothing very super clear. You have different things you can do. In this case, by the way, you probably won't go for bishop h6 to trade this bishop, because, you know, first off, you gotta deal with this, and then you have the king on the king side too. The attacks are not gonna be as dominant as when you can play h4, h5. Here, you'd only be weakening your position, so it's probably something to be avoided. Let's catch up with board 1. Oh, another Sicilian. Okay, looks like a Najdorf. Najdorf Sicilian. Very aggressive by Grandmaster Zhejiang Chao. Bishop e3. Okay, this is not the most... this is the most popular line, sorry. The most popular line. I've talked in the past about those two lines, but this one allows e5, which is basically what black wants to do in the Najdorf. Knight back, bishop e6. Okay. 3 there, queen d2. This is all theory, so we're anticipating white is going to go for the long castle now. It is very important that he, brings his king to safety and then starts some pawn pushes. He also needs to make sure that the d5 square is going to be well controlled, because when it is controlled, well, d5 is not possible. If d5 is possible, black would be doing just fine. We also have h4 that can be possible at some point. Okay, moving on. What was this? Ooh, I have not seen an Alekhine defense in a really, really long time. Let's see how black attempts to get control over the center. Because right now, as you can see, these, they gave it away. They moved the knight quite a bit of times, but they are getting ready to put pressure in the center. So, wait a second. Knight f3 directly. I think it's the main line. I personally have seen this being played a bit more, and then, yeah, knight f3, you can also go f4, which is called 4 pawns, or you could take. Take is, I think you're avoiding a bit of the complications, because you're basically showing the kind of setup that you want. You set up the position where you have control over the center, you're gonna get your pieces out, the bishop in e2 temporarily if there's a potential check. Otherwise, obviously, this second diagonal you want for the bishop, because black has moved the knight from f6, so he doesn't have a protector towards their king, so you want to try to develop your pieces in such a way that they will take advantage of black's king. But obviously, black has the opportunity to bring the other knight here, though this knight typically gets to be developed in c6. But that's an alternative. But white played knight f3, and after the capture, he took with the knight. So the pawn structure now is a bit different. It's more reminiscent of if black plays c6, which in this case they did. It's more reminiscent of some kind of Caro-Kann, where black kind of took in e4, and then he has that pawn structure with the pawn in c6, while white has a pawn in the center, which very likely will consider defending with c3, keep that pawn protected, have this strong chain of pawns, and then this knight in the center is going to be pretty good. Like, pretty good and pretty unpleasant, too. Both. Okay. Bishop e2. He did not try to go bishop c4, Vincent. Okay. I guess he was thinking this, even if you put the bishop in c5, this knight won't go anywhere by itself. So you might as well just leave it there. So bishop e2. So white has chosen quite, I don't say passive, but kind of a passive approach. I'm not a fan of all this. It's a bit too passive. Didn't even consider some... I don't know how aggressive these lines are with g4 and f4. Might be a bit too aggressive. But here, you know, it's not ideal that white has to go back with the knight. Back to f3, didn't even get the bishop in d3, and now just gets c3, not even c4. I mean, I would at least go for here. You know, if I cannot at least hold my knight in the center, at least let me get my space. Let me get some space here. If you go back, then I go knight c3. We also have these ideas, by the way. Bishop f4, bishop g5. I'm not a fan of this bishop here, though. I'm not. We trade it or go rook e1, bishop f1. And then eventually we need to go back to e5. That's our outpost that we need. But after c3, bishop e7, wait, bishop e7, not bishop d6. He's probably trying to stop something here if he played bishop d6. I'm not completely sure what it is that he wanted to stop, but he definitely went for this move. I mean, maybe bishop g5. To bring it here, to make sure the king is safe. Followed by knight d2. Obviously, I would love to play knight d2 first, but it blocks the bishop in c1. And then I guess white can consider rook e1 and decide whether we're gonna trade the light square bishop with bishop d3 or go back to f1. It's imperative that you start getting all your pieces out, because white is behind. It's surprising to me, because this started as an Alekhine defense where black is the one who moves 10,000 times with their knights. But here, because of the transposition, because white didn't take advantage of the opportunity of getting the center, now it's not looking like white started first anymore, in my opinion. It's okay. Ooh, this is sharp. What happened here? After bishop c2, this is around the time that we left it off. Okay, this idea with a4 is pretty typical. The Italian, the Re Lopez. You see it more in the Re Lopez because b5 gets to be played for sure to chase the bishop away, and then this is kind of a target pawn. And after a4, you don't really have the opportunity to do much, especially with the pawn here. You cannot go b4. So you can go to b8 or bishop b7, which would allow, at some point, white to take in b5. So black chose to give up the file, so he allowed to be this capture happen. And now that it happened, white has sufficient pieces out that he thought he's ready to go for d4. And I thought this kind of line is normally met with some bishop g4 or some d5. Usually it's met with some d5, but here it's not looking good for black at d5 for it to be played. Maybe knight h5. No, knight h5, knight f1. Okay. So it allowed white to have two pawns in the center, but we need to keep the pressure on these two pawns. As long as we keep the pressure, they will have to find ways to defend them. So maybe rook e8 to keep some pressure there. Then we also want some bishop g4. Then basically we're putting pressure there. And I don't know which h7 or h5 is the move for that knight. I think both of them are possible. But looks that black decided to go to h7, which, you know. Hmm. What should white do in this position? Knight b3, or should he go d5? What are your guys' thoughts on this position? Because either one of those moves seems good. If you go d5, you're giving up some squares. If you go knight b3 or knight f1, knight f1, you're probably allowing bishop g4, and indirectly black is putting pressure here. And now you can't go bishop d3 because I think they can still win the pawn. If you go here, the knight goes to e5 or knight e5 or knight d4, and your pawn structure is gonna get destroyed here. Black will have a pretty good plan. Maybe we can go. No, we can't do anything. We can't do anything. If we do this, there's this. And actually, now I understand why black has put the knight there. And I'm liking it. I'm definitely liking the fact that he switched over the position of the knight and he got there. Hi there, Michael. Oh, you guys have to be careful when you're putting in a line. Because I don't know why Streamlabs sometimes when you put too many dots, it actually sees it as a link, which I've had to ask it to kind of ban links because I had some strange links being posted. So you can just type in the moves without dots. It will probably help. Here, e5. Yeah, so after knight h7, maybe we don't go for d5. Or maybe we go for d5. Definitely not knight f1. Maybe we go for d5. I mean, what else do we have? We could go here, but this is not really the square where you want to place the knight. You usually bring it towards g3. But if we go d5, now he doesn't have the time to put the bishop in g4, which means it might actually be fine here. He could go knight d5 or knight d4. But let's just say he goes knight e5. It's quite a typical square to place the knight on, right? When you have the possibility to control the center. So what does white do here for maintaining some advantage? Can we take it? If we don't take it, bishop g4 is a plan for black, which would be a bit annoying, you know, because the bishop gets to g4. Okay, so let's take. Takes to the bishop. And now let's come up with a plan for white. What do you guys think? Obviously, we need to finish our development. Knight f3. Hi, Spain. Long time no see. Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for stopping by. Or for being here. Knight f3. I like knight f3 idea. But, you know, that's the problem. That's the problem you have to face, Spain. And yeah, you can play h3. He's gonna take in f3, take back, and then maybe he's gonna find some way to... Yeah, 5 is probably not possible. Maybe he'll just bring his knight back. Or maybe he'll play queen d7, c6. Oh, d5 looks like it was played. So we'll have to wait and see whether black's gonna go knight d5. There are other squares the knight can go to, like knight b4 maybe. It's a nice idea, actually, for black. You know? Because that comes in with tempo. What? What do you mean? Here, you want to take in h6? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Because this is hanging, right? So I can take? Or no, maybe I cannot. I thought I could do this. Oh, there's more into it that we have to calculate. So maybe I misjudged it. It's not mate. Wait a second. Wait a second. That is not mate. Okay, but I can play this in between move, so you don't have queen h3. So where do you move your queen? Let's just say you go here, just for the purpose of moving it somewhere. Check. And I will have this check and taking another pawn. Actually, this is going to be very messy. I don't know who's better. So I'm thinking to take with the king, and then I'm still having this idea to take stuff. Maybe it's too messy. Maybe it's too messy. Do I have something better? This is the best that I could find. Yeah, b2 is loose, but we can't take it just yet because I was thinking about it, but I thought if we take it just yet, rook b1, and then, you know, we got 2 pieces hanging, which we'd rather not. Okay, so maybe the guy's right. Maybe I cannot go bishop. I mean, it's unclear. Yeah, I agree. So maybe I shouldn't go bishop g4. Maybe I was being a bit too much. But then what am I gonna do? Because my bishop and pawn are hanging it. If I go back, this is all the white wants. I mean, just come towards the outpost, right? Bishop e3, queen d2. No. I'm not liking this. Okay, so knight 95 definitely was not such a good idea. So in the game anyways, he played knight b4. Knight b4. So now, for example, if you go bishop b1, is he gonna go c6 or c5? I think you could try c5, and if you don't take en passant, then we'll have a Benko kind of pawn structure where these... I mean, black is fine. If you take en passant, though, how do we assess this position? This is going to be an interesting position to assess, because white has a pawn in the center. It's got the bishops kind of looking towards black's king, but that's about all it has. That's about all it has. What do you guys think? I mean, if I were black, I would think that I would want to play d5 eventually. But yeah, it's not so easy to do. For white, you definitely need this bishop to go out, but with the b2 hanging, I think this knight might want to be brought into play, maybe like that. It's a nice kind of improvement of the knight. You can of course go knight b3 too, but I like to try to bring it towards the center even more. Do I still train as diligently as before you achieved your title? So actually, I've not trained very well for the past few years. I've not trained enough. I'm back into training now because I've lost quite a bit of my rating. I mean, I got my title when I was 18 years old, so that was a really long time ago. So like 16 years ago, right? Long time ago. And you know, sometimes when you have 5 years, what do you mean 5 years? Oh, you think I'm that young? I see. I wish I still were that young. Maybe my face. Maybe my face looks a bit younger, but no, not that young. So I haven't been training as much, I gotta admit. And I had quite a bit of a fall. And, you know, sometimes you need a big fall in order to wake up and realize that you're not doing the right thing. You know, I'm a firm believer in that because sometimes people don't get it. You know, you tell them, even when I teach, I can see this so much in my students. I tell them, do this, this, this. They ask me, what should I do to get better? And I make a plan for them. And then every other day they are like, well, so what should I do? It's like, I already told you, but you're not doing the things you think, you know, it's gonna come easily to you. No, it's not like that with chess. And these days with the, you know, development of computers, it's even harder than when, you know, when I was growing up in chess. So yeah, so I'm working on building a better schedule and keeping myself more disciplined. And I found out that if I actually do my work in the morning, it actually helps me to keep better motivated. But that's something that worked for me. It might not work for everyone. But I think what you have to do is make a plan and keep it every single day, regardless of what happens. The things that you want to work for should happen. You no excuses. You got no excuses to not to do the work in the direction that you want to develop more in. And I used to come up with excuses that I'm too busy. I need to teach so that I can support myself to make money because, you know, I as a female you don't make as much as a chess player. By playing you have to spend quite a bit to go to tournaments. So I kind of came up with all sorts of excuses for why I was not doing my work, and it did not go very well for me. I've lost close to 200 rating points because I was 2389, my highest, my peak, but for a long time I was around 2320, 2330. And then suddenly I kept dropping and dropping, and I only woke up last year from my dropping when I realized I dropped below 2200, and that was unacceptable. So that's when I started working, but now it's much harder to get back to where I was. So those are things that, you have to keep in mind when you're trying to improve and get better, or even maintain. You cannot drop chess. You cannot drop your schedule. You need to keep something um recurring, because that way you're putting the it's a stepping stone into your improvement. It's kind of like you're building a house, and if you don't put something towards improving that house every single day, at some point maybe you'll get a storm and things start collapsing, and then you have to start over. At least some part of your build up of that house is the same in chess. If you're not building up more knowledge, or trying to like refresh the knowledge that you have, you're just going to might fail, because others are working while you're not doing the work. So I think you should never stop. You always should keep learning. I'm actually a firm believer that you should always learn something, but chess wise, I guess I thought I was doing really well. Nope. I got hit pretty hard, and now we're on the path. We'll see if I can make it back. Most people say, oh, you should try to get a job and have a more stable kind of life, safe income and things like that. But you gotta think what it is that you want to do. So it's very important that you think what it is that you want to do and kind of work for it, Okay. So it looks like a couple more moves will play. Knight f1 actually went. I do. I mean, I grew up with chess. I come from a chess family. So my parents taught me when I was really young, and it just kind of stayed with me. And yeah, so I have to find a way to get back to it and continue my improvement. I mean, that is what I want for now, and I might have to take tough decisions and give away some other opportunities that could be good for me too. But at some point you have to make decisions what it is that you want, and just go for your dreams. I mean, that I know it's such a cliche, sounds so cliche or something, but you need to try to find that motivation to get yourself to do those things, because nobody else is gonna do it for you. You were 2176 USCF is going to break 2200 easily. Oh, you went down a bit too. You're 16. Okay. So you're still kind of building your knowledge, make good moves. You're still kind of building your knowledge, and you're accumulating knowledge at that age. It's normal that you're gonna have ups and downs, but the thing is, what you have to do, in my opinion, is try to stop focusing on the rating. The rating, after all, is just a number, and you get there when your level will be there. You will get it. If you get it too soon, you risk of falling down much harder than if you get there when it is your time to get there. I know it's too easy, maybe easier to say it than to do it, and you might not like how I'm saying it, but hopefully one day this will be useful for you. So try not to focus so much on hitting that rating 2200. I mean, after all, that's just a goal, and I hope that's not your final goal in chess. If you really like chess, I hope you have actually higher goals than just hitting 2200. So I think what you have to do is just try to focus on the issues that you have, or and okay, I don't like to call them issues, on the weak points that you have as a player. So if you say that it's calculation that's dragging you down, set up time frames to work on that. Get yourself positions ready, and just whenever you do it on a chessboard. Set up the time, write down your solutions. Make sure you do it within that allocated time that you give yourself. So let's say you give yourself, like, I'm giving myself 40 minutes. These 40 minutes, I'm gonna work on calculation. So you get your positions, I don't know, 6, 7 positions. 6 probably would be kind of good. 6 positions, you prepare them in advance, you take them from a book, set up the positions on the board, set up the timer, and start calculating, and make sure you're managing the time that you can actually have enough for each of those 6 positions. But you can start with 4, you can start with 4 and give yourself around 10 minutes with each. But the point is that you want to make sure you reach everyone, and you write it down, the solution. You check it at the end, or you can check it at the end of your week, and just look on the long-term improvement. Don't just look from today to tomorrow. Try to look for the entire, like, the learning process. As for time management, those things are tricky, but if you're working on your calculation, that can be improved. Now, that is what you're saying. If you have a coach, make sure you check with them if that's the only thing that you're struggling with. Maybe there's something else that you might not realize. That's why it's good at a certain level to get a coach, even if it's just for a few hours, to kind of ask them to help you understand what you're doing wrong. It's worth the investment if you get someone who has enough expertise. At your level, probably you want to get a grandmaster. Look at, if you know any grandmaster that you like the way they explain things, try to get in contact with them and ask them if you could take some classes. So they can kind of look at your games, and they usually can tell really well what other weaknesses you have, because even if we're tough on ourselves, sometimes we really don't see everything. So if they tell you that, then you can improve upon other things, because calculation is not the only thing that's getting you into time trouble. You're probably you might be struggling with confidence and evaluation too. Evaluation could be something you're struggling with, because the reason you're spending a lot of time and you don't know what move to make is because you can't tell which move is correct. And you cannot always make your decision on calculation. Sometimes it's evaluation. And a lot of times it's evaluation, because it's the final position that you need to visualize well, and you need to know this is a position where I'm better. I'm going to go for it. But you're probably struggling doing that. And so, that could be another thing. But if you work on positions, make sure you combine those. And at your level, you probably can work on Jacob Aagaard's books. Maybe you already have them. And he, alternate between the books that he has. So calculation and some strategic play or positional play, And yeah, you're probably making that mistake. You're just focused on calculating and solving everything with calculation. And the problem is, not every position you have to make the decision only based on calculation. So it could be something helping you. $200 an hour? What kind of grandmaster did you find? Raise the curve. You want to be a GM? Oh, what's your rating? Raise the curve. Yes, Cutoff book that I liked when I grew up. Actually, worked on that book with calculation. Bishop b7 was played here. We can probably change back to this game. I'm curious how that Sicilian is going. But yeah, so Kotov's book talks about the tree of calculating, but I love that, and it's helped me growing up as a player. But I gotta say that these days grandmasters are not a huge fan of that, because you cannot you times have changed. The time control for games is a bit shorter, and because of that, you actually don't have time to do all that tree and everything. You can do it when you're training at home, maybe, but you cannot do it when you're playing a game. You don't have sufficient time. So some grandmasters, they say that, oh, I'm not the biggest fan of that book, but it teaches you a bit of foundation. It teaches you how to think sometimes, how to make decisions and such. So it's just something to keep in mind. Corrales charges 200. Okay, what's your rating? Oh, 1900 USF and 1950 FIDE. Maybe you should find some other grandmaster. Not everyone charged that much. You can, wow, $200. Wow, that's a lot. I know some that charge less. But yeah, at this point, things have changed, so many would charge around 100 or more. So 120, 130. I don't know if that's a better you could do 100. I actually don't know what Elshin charges these days, but I have full confidence that he's a pretty good coach. So you can try to contact him. Grandmaster Elshin Moradi Abadi. I don't know what his fee is. You would have to ask him. But I know it's not 200. Oh, okay, you played in the high school nationals. That's nice. How did you do there? Oh, you're coaching. Okay. Oh, so what is your goal? Raise the curve. NTN is asking about how to get past 1400. Probably you have to work on plans. I don't know you. I can only give general advice, of course. If I have you as a student and I can see more of your games and see where you are, then obviously I can tell a bit more. But as general advice around the level, you need to work on more tactics, maybe studies to improve your visualization of the board, and work on plans, just to learn what you should do after you get out of the opening. It is quite important to know what to do out of all your openings. So why went for the attack here? Okay, that's a pretty good goal. It's definitely achievable if you make a plan that you work a bit every single day and make sure it's focused work. You're better off to do 20 minutes a day for yourself and make it focused, rather than do 3 hours at the end of the week, just one day, try to put it all together in the same day and just like, I did the work for the week. No, it doesn't work like that. It's not a good idea. It's not good at all. It's not good at all. Trust me, I've done that before. Like, I did my work. No, nope, you did not. You did nothing for your chess improvement. Nothing whatsoever. Knight c6. Knight c6. I mean, yeah, that looks nice, but it does nothing. This knight here does nothing. Why did he put it in c6? So white has gotten a bit of attack. You're a procrastinator? Yeah. Join the club. Join the club. I'm a procrastinator too. Which tournament is next week? What tournament is there? Oh, in Rhode Island. Okay. I don't believe I saw that advertisement for that tournament. But anyways, next week I'm going to do commentary for the middle school championship in Atlanta. So I couldn't play. Chessful! Morning! How are you doing? Long time no see. Knight c6. Why did he even go knight c6? Knight c6 is always gonna be an issue if somehow black gets to take this pawn, you know? But I like the... Oops, my bad. Sorry about that. I like the idea of going knight a5 because that kind of stops those pawns from moving forward, which is kind of nice. So, there's no threat, nothing. Maybe he could go... I don't know. I don't know. It feels stuck. White's attack feels over. It's gone. It went away. As soon as this thing happened, there's no opening of anything. Yes, it was Najdorf with bishop e3 here. Bishop e3. And then white decided to go for this g4, which I think it's still theory. And knight d5 takes with the pawn. I don't know. I guess this is normal to take with the pawn, because I guess if you take with the queen, you probably allow this capture. And I'm assuming this is fine. I'm assuming this is pretty fine for black. I actually like black's position. You don't really have the time to take d6. So, oh my god, I keep pressing the wrong button. Okay, here. And yeah, f6, you kind of have to take. How else are you going to hold on to the pawn? And you know, I wish I could make this move if it were possible. Bam. But I cannot. I can't bring my knight magically over there. So I like this to stop, I guess, a5. And now, maybe... What about if we're thinking of some ideas to bring the bishop here? So, knight f4. And I'm assuming we can't take because of this beauty. Yo, Najdorf is just too good. White has nothing. I see. Well, here he has nothing. There's no attack. You got a file and it's useless because you can't even do anything because the bishop is there. He's gonna go some e4 at some point and you got nothing. And if you take, you're just helping him get the bishop open and get some squares. So, okay. I wonder if this is doing anything? Checky? Yeah, dark square control after knight f4, yes, but here maybe knight there, and then I'm attacking here. I mean, you can go back, I check you. I don't know, this knight is just kind of stuck, but I can always go back. If to go rook b8. Maybe I'm waiting for it to go rook b8. I don't know if knight c6 is the best location for the knight, because I think it does nothing there. At least I would have hoped he would check his opponent first, just to get the king in the corner, and because now knight f4 and you don't have the check, and if you take, you might take with the rook, and then this rook is coming over this other side. I'm not a fan of this. Not a fan at all. I like black. Maybe I should play the knight, or seriously this time. I wonder, like, how many minutes a day I need to work on an opening in order to memorize it. Something like the Najdorf. How much time do people spend memorizing the Najdorf in order to be able to play? But then you have to also memorize all the sidelines. If, you know, people might just end up not playing things against you. You might just get sidelines, and then you spend all that time memorizing. See, that was my mistake. It's wrong mindset. Wrong mindset. I only realize it when I actually say it. When I say it myself, I realize how silly I am. I'm just thinking about immediate gain. That's a lesson you can learn from me if you want to. Don't think about immediate gains. Think about long-term improvement. So, you know, in a year, you will look back and compare what you've done a year ago to what you do now, even if you don't see a change in your rating, but if you see a change in your play and the way you are, you know, understanding the position, you've made an improvement. And all you have to do is just keep at it, and eventually you will get the rating too. When you're there, you're gonna get it when your level is there. Yeah, I see what you mean. Sorry. So it looks like he took the knight. Oh, this actually happened. Wow. Okay. My line actually happened. This is unexpectedly expected. So what to do now? Maybe we can go rook g1. I don't mind playing the Alapin. You can get some decent positions out of the Alapin with black, I think. I mean, so if we get this check now, you see, the problem is if you give the check, knight c5 will come in, and then there'll actually be a threat to win a piece. So that check is not really helping white at all. Maybe we can go rook g1. I don't think he can take, right? Because a check and queen g2. That's why I'm thinking, if you're wondering. Turn me to the dark side? Why is Sicilian the dark side? Because it's such a, you know, aggressive kind of opening, and I'm such a positional player that likes to play, you know, positional games. Is that the reason why you're saying that? There's nothing wrong with the Sicilian. It's a very fine opening. Okay, so you cannot take the pawn. At least we figured one thing out. So rook g1, that would be kind of a nice move here for white. You can't take. And the plan is, you know, try to double up on the g file. Maybe triple up, rook g3, do some, you know, bring some more pieces for the attack. Queen g2, bishop e6. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Maybe I will get. Oh, rook g1 was played. Okay, all right. So Marvin is at least giving black a bit of, you know, attack. Not much. Not much. Knight c5 might be an idea here for black. Just to make sure e6 square is controlled so you don't have bishop e6 anymore. And the problem is, I wish I could go rook a7, but I cannot. But also not rook c8 and rook c7 because there's a bishop here. But black can cover g7 by playing g6 or rook f7. And it might be enough. It might be enough for him. Let's catch up with the other game as well. This one was that Alekhine defense where white didn't seem to get anything. He just he chose a very passive approach that didn't give him any kind of advantage, in my opinion. And now here black has completed their development. White still has to get the bishop from c1, the rook in a1. It's not fun. The first moves, it was e4, knight f6. And here, white played knight f3. And what I didn't like is that, I guess, there's some line here, but I just don't like it. I mean, maybe people have played this before. I just don't like it for white. It just feels that white is just giving up all of his plans. He's giving up, you know, the control of the center, the outposts. He doesn't go c4. I mean, it's just allowed black to develop the bishop in f5, which you see more rarely. I guess you sometimes see the bishop going to g4 in the exchange variation, but you can try 4 pawns, which is quite aggressive. So I think this was not very wise. This was not a very wise decision. Because, I mean, I don't see any advantage for white here. And black also got c5. And he's got himself some space. The bishop keeps the diagonal control. No attacks are gonna happen. This bishop controls g5. So, yeah, I mean, you basically got a different kind of setup. It doesn't even look like an Alekhine anymore. It looks more like something different. I got something in my eye. I don't know what it is. It's not looking good. Okay. And yeah, I guess white may try some, I don't know what, move this knight, and then after moving it, maybe bishop g2 or bishop f4, of course, if somehow we get rid of that tonight. I don't know if knight e3 is an option, but then why couldn't he play it now? There's no threat, really. I wouldn't have minded to do this. Takes. And then, you know, g3, bishop g2, bishop f4, maybe, if e5 is not an option. Yeah, it's a pretty solid structure. I prefer black, but it's still, I mean, they don't have attack or anything, but black seems to be in the driver's, well, it's just slightly better there. This game, some more things have changed. So c5 was played eventually, as we suggested earlier. I thought it was an important move for black to play because he needed to get rid of his backward pawn on the file, and this would have given him a bit more space should white have not taken there. But of course they have to take, and now knight f1. So I had this suggestion to get the knight to come to d5, and that's exactly what ended up happening. This was a real Lopez, but with d3, like this, and then he played g6. So it's just white might have gained a tempo to go bishop c2 directly, but so did black. Black won quite a few because the bishop is in g7 directly. And it actually gave him quite a good position, I'd say. Black is perfectly fine here. After the trade, knight h7. This was a move that I did not anticipate, and it turned out to be pretty good because is just putting pressure in the center and then opening up the bishop, and then also brings the knight potentially to g5 and opens up the queen too. So I didn't think about that move. I thought maybe knight h5 was an option to bring the knight to f4, but instead that, yeah, I guess you can call it Steinitz, I guess. I thought Steinitz was d6 move 3, but I guess, yeah, technically it did transpose. And then there we have it. Oh, rook a3. This is a new one. This is a new move. White uses the third rank to consider bringing the rook either here, or if somehow his knights move away, bringing it to h3. Got you. Okay. Well, you're the one who likes to study openings. I just know the main variations. The rest, I paid no interest in learning for some reason, which is not good. Mea culpa. I know. I shouldn't do that. I should learn all of them. But they also change names quite often. Probably not the Steinitz one, but you know. You see an opening be named something one day, and then the next day someone else came up with a move and then were naming it for some reason. I don't know. Let's catch up with the last 3 games, and I might take a short break after that. I'm very good at endgames. Only sometimes. Okay, so from this exchange Slav, white has gotten a pretty good setup here. Because, you know, black... The point is, when you're playing the exchange Slav, the good thing about it is that black doesn't get the chance to get the bishop out to f5 so easily. I mean, he can try to, but usually this pawn is going to be an issue after queen b3. And not yet, maybe this first, and then later queen b3. And then, you know, you might lose that pawn, and with the bishop in f4, you have to be careful not to lose it. Here probably doesn't work to be taken because of knight a5, but it is something you always have to be mindful about. So black tends to leave their bishop in on that side of the board and then play e6. But with that, white's position is slightly better because those two bishops compared to each other, right? Because it's symmetrical. So white's bishop is actually doing something, and this one is just stuck doing nothing. And now rook c1 and rook c8. This is already an improvement for white. But how does he continue further? Probably trying to double up on the c file. What? He took the bishop? But I was just saying that is a bad bishop. I guess he feels that he has something. I wouldn't take that bishop. I don't know. Hi, Just Dexter. I'm doing alright. How are you? Yeah. That's true. There's some lines where black does give up the b7 pawn. I had to play with that myself a few times, like by taking the pawn, and it was tough to deal with it. Black does get quite a bit of compensation, actually, yeah. I'm not sure I like that move. Takes. And what does white plan? Because that was his bad bishop. I wouldn't have taken it in a million years unless I saw something concrete to help me win something, but I don't see anything concrete for white. Like, rook c3, double up on the c file. But what was maybe he took the bishop because he thought black might consider going bishop e8, and that way you can't take it anymore. He might push you back, but even if they do, you can always switch over and go somewhere else. Dylan, how are you doing? Great to see you here. Knight d7, and now rook c3 or rook c2, or we could also try to do something like this, though. Oops, queen d3, but then knight f6 would come back, and you love Hi, North Carolina Den. No, long time no see either. Knights overpower bishops. Well, here is not so clear because the knights don't have great outposts to be placed on, so because of that, it's not that terrible, but yeah. On to the next game. All right, in this browser. White went for the pawn, but was that the right kind of approach? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Dylan. Don't let people take you down. We all have bad tournaments. Maybe they were just teasing you. They thought that they can help you to get better and improve. Don't let that take you down. Just we all have bad days. Just try to improve for next time, okay? Queen f3. Oh, don't we all sometimes have moments when we are just like, the person so mean. Why are they so mean? But you get over it, Don't let that consume you. People will be people sometimes. We all have our moments. Just try to appreciate what you have and whatever someone says doesn't define who you are or how you should be or how you feel. You just need to kind of find your way to continue doing what it is that you want, and in a year you will not even remember that some random persons, or maybe not random, but someone said something mean. Yes, for revenge. Chessful. Wow, I didn't know you're the kind of person that goes for revenge, but okay. Oh, I appreciate you being here, Fogger. Queen f3. I thought more like g4, or wait, is there a threat here? Does he want to do this or something? Getting better is the best revenge. That's true. What about f4, g4, g5? I want to go for the attack. I like this. What's he gonna do? Because if he goes bishop e7, I mean, I have e5 to protect. It's good to hear, Dylan. Good to hear. How's your job search going? Were you able to find something, or you taking some time with family now? I don't know, guys. I'm liking this position for white. That's great. Congratulations. I'm happy to hear that. I hope you're liking it. I like this, guys. I really like f4. Why did he have to move the queen? And to f3 of all places, that blocks the f pawn for actually going there and going c5. Oh, bishop c3 after f4? Well, he can do the same thing, can he? I mean, okay, I take. Okay, I trade queens, but I don't have an extra pawn? Like, I also have this knight very unpleasant there. I like this position. No, don't you guys like it? I like it for white. I don't see what black can do to... Yeah, I got weak pawns, true, but you gotta figure out how to get your bishop out to actually get to attack them. And I can always play c4 and save. Sure, of course, Dylan. Queen takes a2? Nah. Nah, I'm not scared of that. Are you? I can just play b3, right? Oh, b3 is check. Oh my god. Oh, I can't play b3. What about b4? b4. I can play b4. Okay. I can't believe I blundered check. Check knight. So okay, b4. I mean, okay, fine. Maybe I'm being over optimistic, but now what? We're good with white, I think. Stuff like this won't scare me too much. Won't scare me at all. I think I can push. Okay, white's king is a bit weak, but, you know, you won a pawn and... Oh, we didn't win any pawn. What? No, because he took it back in a2. Okay. But at least he's stuck, right? His pieces are stuck. I can go queen b3 next move. At some point, not next, but at some point, I can go bishop c4 and try to trap the queen. Bishop d3, you might lose the knight. That's the issue. So you need to be careful. But we can go bishop c4 and we can support the knight. If we support the knight first, then yeah, we can play bishop d3 and escape with the king, and nothing's gonna happen. But bishop c4 might kind of trap the queen somewhat. I think this is good. I mean, but after queen f3, he took, and c3 looks like, so he basically, I mean, he basically has the same position, but he's done nothing. I mean, that's why this move is not good. That's why queen f3 is not good. You can clearly see that white missed the move, right? I mean, he can do anything here. Takes in c3, queen takes. Instead, he chooses to move the queen, which, you know, he goes back to that. And could he still have played b4? So he can go bishop here and... And then maybe here, and I don't know. Queen a3. Alright, so we got an endgame. I thought we will see some attacking game with g4, g5 or something. Knight takes c8? When? Now? I don't know about knight takes c8 because I like my knight. This knight has moved so much to get there. Like, if you take that bishop that never moved, you're also helping black get the rook into play. Oh, thanks, Dylan. Thanks. I try my best. You know, sometimes it's easier to give advice than to others than to yourself. But maybe sometimes I will learn from my own advice, you know? So here is quite okay. I mean, we need to get the bishop out and then maybe double up the rooks, you know? I assess this endgame as being kind of equalish because black is still behind in development, but white has specifically this pawn that's kind of weak, so it's not really ideal to have it. We'll have to wait and see how this game goes, but it was definitely not what I expected. I just didn't expect that the queens would get traded, because I do believe white has some attacking ideas that he could keep under his belt that he can do, because h6 was played, right? So that's the hook that you always want to take advantage of. All right, so what have we got here? We have got some big changes, actually. It looks like a few pieces got traded off, and I don't know if I like e5 the most or e6, because e6 would have led to the opening of the e file, which is usually what black wants in these types of positions. I've thought some of these positions, and it was always e6. Even if you take, actually black is happy because they can take back with the rook, and then they can actually come over the file. Yes, we have a weakness, but it also keeps the knight supported. This bishop is still bad, so it doesn't get to attack the rook. So I think black would have a pretty decent position here. But e5 does not force white to take. And now, okay, let's see how the game continued. But I'm liking white. He's got b4 in. He will get maybe c5 in. Oh. Oops, looks like I got a delivery. I should take a short break and go pick up my stuffs. I order some food. I like white here, I gotta tell you. So if you had played e6 and done this, now this is not so easy for white to play because that bishop is hanging, obviously. So you gotta protect it first. I don't even know how he's planning, like this move or this move, but this move gives that pawn away. Maybe this move. Maybe here. And here. And let's just pretend, because I just wanted to get to this move. We get this, but then, you know, that's about all we get. Then the knight can come towards e5 and put pressure here. Maybe they can switch. But the way the game went, because it's blockaded there, you actually don't have anything on this side of the board. So white's gonna go for c5. He did not go for it. Okay, never mind. He did not. Could he play c5 here? Takes, 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 takes. d6. Because white does want to create that pass pawn. White does want to open. We got that check, bishop coming in. I think white might have some compensation, but okay, it's not... You don't need to rush it. So rook c1 makes sense. Rook c8. Okay, so he's prepping it, and at some point, he will get to play it. He cannot go just yet because this is hanging. But he'll prep it somehow. I don't know how, but he might. Maybe queen somewhere and then try to go c5. Okay, so we caught up with all of the games so far. I'm going to take a short break. It's been a little bit of time since I went on with this round. I'm gonna take a tiny break, go check my the delivery, whatever I got, and I will be back to catch up with the remaining of the games. And as the players approach time trouble, is going to get very exciting. So hopefully you'll stay close, and I will be back soon. Let's get some water. Maybe I'll bring Regina as well. But see you in just a little bit. Please stay close. I'll let you check this game out. Yes, he might have played, or he will be playing. He's played a lot of tournaments. But anyways, I'll be back. All right. I am back. It looks like I missed a raid. Dr. Blunders, thank you so much for the raid. All right. Welcome, everyone. Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Blunder. Hope you had a wonderful stream. I'm currently doing commentary for this tournament in Florida, 29th edition of the Space Coast Open. We got one GM participating and a few 2300s, some National Masters. It's a really nice tournament, very interesting games. So hopefully I didn't seem to be active. Yeah, I took a break. I took a short break. I had a delivery being made, so I took a tiny little break because, you know, sometimes you gotta take a small break, right? Been streaming since this morning around 9:30, so about 2 hours. And yeah, but I'm here. I'm glad I came right on time. Great to see all of you. And yeah, hope you're all doing well. No, I'm not in Florida. Actually, I am home. I'm doing the commentary from home, which is a nice thing when you get to do that. But anyways, it's great to be back. Okay, let's get to see where we were. So, when I left off in this position, that's right. No, I'm not in Florida right now. I'm home. But it's nice when tournaments are taking place, you know, in a location and with the DGTs and showing the games live. You can do commentary from almost anywhere. It's nice to be there because, you know, sometimes you can get the chance to interview the players who are there and, you know, but other than that, you know, all is good. So we don't have the chance to interview, but we can still look at their games and discuss their mistakes, their good moves, interesting positions, stuff that doesn't happen. There's a lot of calculation that's going on often, and things like that. So anyways, that is something that is something nice to see. And when I left off, I felt that White should have given this bishop the 6 check, but he didn't give it. He placed his knight here, and I was kind of unhappy, right? But then this happened, and I wasn't sure anymore what I'd like because, you know, the rook is on g1, and there's a pressure, and but there's nothing. We can give a check, and that's about it. That's about all we can give. This pawn is going to be easily protected by black. And I think black can still try to start pushing the pawns on the king side. Oh, Carvalma, did you put some if you're putting a link, then, you know, that's the issue. So no links allowed. You can type things, but try to avoid typing something that has, you know, dots or something with com. The bot usually does that. I'm not quite sure what rook e1 is. What's up with rook e1? He actually is thinking maybe at some point to capture and trade off towards an endgame. He's thinking maybe he'll be better or something, right? But I don't know. Rook g5, and now queen f8. White does not have... You know, one time I had a game where I was able to sacrifice a knight for some central pawns, and then I had a pass pawn. It was actually on the a file that I was able to go for, but Yeah, maybe something like this. It could happen. And I still don't see. The point is, if we go rook here to try to go rook here, they will take. So that's the point. That's the issue here. And if we go queen g2, I feel that they might be able to take here. Oh, not yet. Okay, wait. They can't take the pawn, so that's a good thing. So we could go queen g2, because this move is going to be met by bishop e6 checkmate. But he can just play g6, and I'm not seeing a follow-up. Do you guys see a follow-up in this situation for anyone? What do you think? White is putting some pressure, but it's not enough. What? Yes, I got it, Dylan. So, okay, so in this position, what is White gonna do to maintain some not such a bad position? It seems that it's struggling, right? Rook takes g6. You want to go for rook takes g6 in that position? PV? I'm not sure you can do that. So where is it? Here? If you take, I take, you sacrifice the rook, I can play queen g7. Okay, you got one more check, sure, bishop e6 or here. You know, this position would be sad, right? Because you trade the queen, you just sacrifice the rook, you trade the queen, no big deal. But anyways, that is an option. What else is an option here? One moment, guys. Okay. What else can we do? I don't want to sacrifice. I want to come up with a different approach here. So after queen f8, I need to come up with something different. But what? I mean, you know what I would like to do if it would be possible? So give this check and then start a pawn march to h6, right? Because if we do that, that could be helpful in a way, right? But it is not so easy. It's not so easy to get that going. This pawn is hanging, you know, they'll push you. This is not fun, my friends. Not fun at all. A few moments back, I think White probably messed up. He had a fine position, but he let Black kind of regroup, get the knight to f4, and then he didn't really get the chance to do much. I do like this idea with bishop h3. I suggested it myself to bring the bishop to e6. It just doesn't seem like it's done anything. And, you know, most of all, if we compare a few moves ago to this position, I like Black because his bishop got improved. It was here, was restricted, wasn't doing much. Now he switched over, the knight is in f6. It's a good position for him. Okay, let's go back to this one and see what's happening here, because here the attack had started when we left it off, and now I want to see what's happening. Queen f3 and h4. He's serious about this building up of the attack on the king side. I like this idea. h6, h5. And now it's not good. It is not good at all. Bishop d2, knight c5. No, no, no. We're not liking this, my friends. We're not liking it at all. White's attack is stuck. There's no sacrifices that I see. These knights are looking nice, but that's about it, you know? It's just not working. It's just not working at all. Okay, let's move on to the next game. Aha, so in this one, remember when I told you that I was quite happy when Black got that c5 in because, you know, it gave him a bit more space, it opened up the position, White's pieces were kind of crammed up on the back, didn't finish the development, and I was right. I like Black's position now. d5 was played. Okay, well, I wonder if the players are gonna go for a draw, like if they're just gonna repeat the position. I hope they don't, but there's a chance maybe they might. Yeah, well, it's not underdeveloped. These bishops are not. I mean, this one is C1 is, but the other ones are not. Thank you, Justful. Thanks for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate it. And we have some pressure there, but I don't know. I don't know if we can ever do anything about it. I think we might have to take the repetition. Or you could try to go queen rook d2. I don't know if that does anything. But thanks, Justful. Rook e2 and I don't know. Maybe he can get out of the pin. You got to deal with that. It's kind of like, it's not too bad because the bishops are far away. They're looking towards the king, but in the same time, they're stuck there. They're not doing so much. They're really behind. So that's something going on. If we go back to this position, after knight takes d7 is where we stopped, and I wasn't quite fond of the capture because after the capture, White gave up a knight that I thought was better placed than the bishop in d8. Yes, maybe he was worried that Black would go there, but still, you know, I don't think it's the time to take. He does try to double on the c file, but that was kind of smart by Black. I love that. Knight a5, trade a pair of rooks, come back, rook c8, queen a8 maybe, get the rook protected, and then move the knight again, trade it, and you get to trade quite a bit of pieces. And we'll see. h3 was his choice. So he might consider g4 and actually try to build up something on the king side now that a pair of rooks was traded. That's a possibility. But again, I'm not the biggest fan of the fact that some pieces got traded. Oh wow, how did White get that position? I thought this endgame was gonna be a draw. You guys remember we looked at this game not long ago? Okay, this is a nice approach. Don't forget, this sometimes in some situations when no pieces are bothering you, it's a nice rook lift idea that you can improve pieces and stuff like that and bring them to a better location. Here takes. Rook takes d4. And bishop d3. Actually, White stayed with the extra pawn. Like, why? Why did Black play this move? Did he not realize he's gonna lose because of this pin? This seems like a mistake. Can't he just continue his pathway? That rook is protected. Okay, it's not clear how you get the bishop out, but at least you bring the king closer to the center. I think you can easily get the bishop out, actually. Rook b8, b6, bishop a6, or bishop somewhere. Or even b5. I don't like knight d4. This just gives up a pawn for nothing. I'm comfortable. I'm confident that white has a big chance now to win this game because he has the extra pawn, he has the majority on the king side, easily can start pushing the pawns forward. It's gonna be good for him. Here, f4. It's not easy. It's not easy to, because, you know, maybe, I wonder if black can set up like this, or this is gonna actually help white force the trade. Ah, it might help white. So probably not g6. You need to let him play f5, and then you move the bishop, and then you play f6, and you're trying to blockade his pawns there. So maybe you can go bishop g4. See where the rook goes, because at least you got some outposts over there, and you can support your bishop maybe like this to make sure it remains there, and then probably black can double up on the c file just to keep the pressure to make it difficult for white to get this rook into play. But you can go rook here, followed by king d2 or king b2, and then start marching maybe e5, f5, and then e6 eventually. So it will take a bit of time, but he may do it. Rook d8 was played. I don't know if I like rook d8. It doesn't seem like, right? It doesn't seem like the thing to do. Bishop b5, Dylan? Bishop b5 here. Ah, might not be bad. Sure, you could try bishop b5. And then if they trade, you take back. And actually, if we go into the bishop endgame, because you may wonder what's going to happen, I think white is definitely for choice here. I mean, it's definitely like a good thing. You can bring the king closer to the center. Eventually, you'll play f5, e5. You just need to be careful because, for example, if black plays f6, you know, this is going to be a bit tricky. You bring your king, you bring your king. When you're ready, you play e5. You might want to not rush too soon, but you definitely want to bring the king first. It's very important in endgames. For choice. Yes, white is for choice in this endgame. Yes, definitely. Rook d8 is, yeah, the trading the rooks. It's not super clear, but black, you know, white has the chance to win there for sure. Big chance, like 90% chance. Ooh, changes. Everywhere changes. Remember when I told you that I wasn't quite happy with black's approach of pushing those pawns forward like that instead of just playing e6 and trading off and opening up the file? Well, I'm liking white for some time. I was liking white for some time here, if you remember. But I don't know if this... What is this g3? Why would he play g3? g3 just weakens his king, right? It does weaken his king. That doesn't seem like a wise decision, does it? And I don't like this bishop. I would play bishop f1. You know, when you don't know what to do, you're not so sure, and you don't want to calculate. There was someone earlier, I don't know if he's still on the stream, who was asking about, you know, like spending too much time in positions and, you know, getting worse positions because he didn't know or not getting worse positions, but like spending too much time and entering time trouble. So when you don't know what to do, you just try to improve the position under your pieces, especially those that you don't think look good. So you may be surprised, but no, this was not a Benoni, it was actually a Sicilian. It was a Sicilian. This was a Sicilian, and it was played this way. And it might sound crazy, but this transposed to that position that you've seen, because at some point white put the knight in d5, there was a trade, and then, you know, at some point black played a d5, which I showed. So it was kind of an interesting, I don't think I've seen often positions that change from a Sicilian to a Benoni-like position, but yeah, this is how it happened. And the first trade, right, that leads to the structure, which, okay, when you see the structure, you're thinking maybe something, but there's a knight in c5, so but when you switch her like that, you're like, how did that happen? And it happened. Yeah, white did not play so well, but I guess it worked out. I don't know. Queen d2. Eigen. I thought you were following her. Maybe you're another Eigen. So e5 I did not like. So in these pawn structures, after the trade, it is very important for black to get some play, because nothing is going to happen here. Any b6 capture, that pawn will be weak. And yeah, if you play e6 or something, you're not going to do much. So good day, Eigen. Good day. Okay. So I thought that white was starting to get a better position because he had the chance to play c5, but he missed that chance. And here I definitely do not like g6. Thank you, Eigen. I appreciate you subscribing. You always follow and unfollow and follow, and okay. Why do you do that? Does it help? Does it help anyone? Bishop f1. You don't know what to do, try to think about a way to improve your pieces. Bishop f1, you know, and then try to get c5 in. But okay, g3. Now black is getting the activity, and you won't get that pawn time soon. I wonder if white thought he can play here and get it, and then change their mind when they saw that this was an option. Because now if you take, they take here. Actually, I should have asked you guys. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Pretend like you didn't see anything. White just played rook takes e4. Black to move and win. Can you find it? Of course you can. Cute little tactics. Knight takes e2, rook takes e2, knight f3, check, rook. Kind of cute, right? Kind of cute. You have to be careful when you're capturing material that you don't stand for forks or geometrical ideas with the knight. So anyways, so he can't take that. Maybe king f2. And now I feel that d3 is an option, maybe. And suddenly, you know, this knight, out of nowhere, is just kind of strong here, ready to take the pawn. And that's why I decided to go rook b. Oh, maybe there was rook b3 too as an option? Maybe there's rook b3. Okay, so this is an alternative idea that he probably wanted to avoid. Now I understand why he played rook b2, because he wants to avoid that. So this way the rook covers the bishop and the pawn and the rook b3, and now the next move could be potentially here rook d1 and try to get the pawn. But it's not going to be easy because black just played d3, and now it's going to be even tougher to get it. The thunder peonies, yeah, definitely. Definitely chessful. I prefer, you know, serious stuff, serious attack. So here, we can bring in the king and okay. Yeah, this game is quite balanced. It remains to be seen, but as the players will get low on time, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Everyone could make a mistake. So we'll be back to that game. Let's go back to our top board because at least I was feeling unhappy about White's position. I thought White was having some kind of potential attack, but it went away. Najdorf took it all away. G6. Okay, at least White traded that rook, which was obnoxious because it was attacking here, was threatening to come over the other side of the board. So at least that's a good thing that happened in the position. Where do we move the bishop? I'm thinking e4, but it looks so ugly, Bishop e4, I mean... Takes. This knight is brilliant, but it does nothing. But if we would get into an endgame, well, then black might be out for choice because he's got a majority on this side of the board, and for white it will be hard to create a pass pawn. The Najdorf is the ultimate dream killer for e4 players. I mean, I don't know. There are a few lines that are unpleasant for people who play the Najdorf, but I guess if you study the theory, you will get your equality. And yeah, gotta study for quite some time. Not like me just saying that I'll study something in the Sicilian and then I don't. Bad, Sabina. Gotta spend in the time to memorize more stuff. Hey, casual player, welcome. How are you doing? Great to see you back. Okay, so not bishop e4, bishop e6 was played instead. White is trying to keep the bishop more active. I was worried about f3 pawn, but you don't need to. I will not be playing at the Vegas tournament. Will you be playing again? I think Alshon will be playing, so it will be your chance to meet him. If you are. Nothing gives them a legit advantage. I guess it does not. It does not give them any advantage here. This position is tough. Very tough. Very tough to build something with the knight in f6. My plan of this is gonna be stopped in just one move. Oh, thank you so much, Taborich. I appreciate it. Thank you. You're first over the board. That's nice. That is nice, Eigen. Over the board tournaments are great. I need to play one soon. I'm thinking Chicago. Maybe I'll play in Chicago. Knight h5 was played as we were talking here. You need some chai? Yeah, I made some tea yesterday. It wasn't chai. It was this green tea with mint. I made it for the day, so I made like a big batch. I boiled it down directly in my boiling electric boiler. I don't know if it was smart or not, but I've been lazy. I kind of let it overnight, so I had my what's the name? Just tea in the morning or something. I got there like a brain freeze or something. Of course, Taborich. Yeah, I occasionally turn on the engine just to check things. I usually let you guys know when I do. Because, I could just say something that's a huge blunder, which can happen. So, it occasionally gets turned on. But I hope you guys come to my stream because I try to give some, improvement advice that you can do, and hopefully, you get to use it to improve yourselves, get better, or just continue sharing your passion for the game, either one. And I also think that all tournaments are interesting to see and look at, and they could always be interesting games. And hopefully we're seeing some interesting games here. And again, I'm kind of thankful to the organizers that they had me do commentary for the tournament. Once again, I've been doing commentary for this tournament for the past 3 years. This is my 3rd year in a row. So it's kind of electric kettle. Yeah, that's what I meant, casual player. See, I had my brain freeze. Yeah, I have an electric kettle, and normally I boil it and I put it in another pot where the tea stays and it gets brewed and stuff. But this time I just kind of dumped I had these small packets. I dropped them in the electric kettle as the water boiled, and I let them for a few hours, and then, it was like 1.5 liters of tea. So I'll have tea for a while. Okay, so White is trying some stuff here. Will consider a sacrifice eventually. Not sure when, but he might. It feels like a good battle, indeed. I like Black. I think Black might start some ideas of attacking this way. Definitely knight f4 at some point, but he has to be careful that this sacrifice doesn't work. I mean, Black should be slightly better. I think his bishop is better placed. He's got some ideas to improve here. I don't think the sacrifice works. There's always queen g7, but who knows? Maybe it will work. Maybe it will work. Let's catch up with the other games. There were some other interesting things happening. White built up his attack here with this bishop f4. It was quite cool. It was quite cool here. Can Black consider sacrificing? How is a CM equal with a GM? It's not? Or what do you mean it's equal? You mean the position is equal? Well, you play a game. If the opponent doesn't make a mistake, it's hard to force them to make one, right? So it's not about necessarily the title that you have. The GM is not crushing it. Well, just because someone is a GM, it doesn't mean that they're gonna crush everyone. You can put up some great fights and you can even take them down. Because that's how you get new GMs, right? They're able to take out other GMs from before. So, he has a better position. Black has a better position, but if you play a good game, if you have confidence, if you're careful about your pieces, look for threats. He also had the white pieces, the CM, and the master, but anyways, this position, I think Black's gonna get that d4 pawn, and he will be doing well. Great. Why he didn't go for rook takes here? Maybe he was worried about something. Maybe he was worried about bishop takes, c7. And then bishop back somewhere? Where? Maybe bishop back here? Kind of traps the rook for a bit. Right? I guess you have knight takes a1. Maybe you have knight takes a1. If I take back, then... Okay, even if I catch a rook later, it will be good. Okay, you are right about this. One moment. Rook a3? No. Bishop b6. bishop b6. I don't think there's a difference between those two moves, P. Vasiliev, because I still take a rook, and you don't really have anything here that I can see. The rook is not trapped. I was just trying to trap the rook at least to get back. No, but maybe I can go rook a3, just move the rook since it's attacked. And queen f3. Okay, this could work. But my worry is that he actually wants to take and then take this rook. And black is happy to make a trade because he just won a pawn. So, you know, let's say you do this, and then he takes. Okay, he's got an extra pawn, and your pawns are totally all over the place. You can just start, you know, bringing the rook to attack them. I'm liking black's position here. We should not allow our pawn structure to be messed up. But if we go rook a3, we're just escaping because that was a threat too, right? I think this maybe gives white some. So, for example, if you move the knight, now there's a difference, right? Because my rook is not hanging anymore, and I think I can come back, and this time black's rook is trapped. We're threatening to trap it with this, and I don't see how he can stop it. Or bishop e2, or bishop h3. Quite a bit of moves that would trap the rook and win the exchange. So maybe that's why he played queen d7, because with queen d7 here, he just escapes with the queen from the attack, and he doesn't need to be worried. Oh, Elshan, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate it. How are you doing? Hope all is well and you're having a good Sunday. Grandmaster Elshan is going to... He said he was gonna retire, but looks like he may play in Vegas. So for those of you who want to see him, you should definitely go and get our book, have him sign it for you. Oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. I hope you recover soon, get some rest. Hopefully you don't teach much this Sunday, Elshan. Oh, rook a3 was played. Wow. Okay, rook a3 was played. But this is not the same as before. Because now the d4 pawn can be captured, right? Because black avoided all pieces hanging, and now he has a good position. Okay. So smart. This is a smart move. You know, you can complicate things. This is one of those moments where you can actually save yourself from losing time, because you can get so much into this move to spend time and calculate it, because you can say, I gotta make it work. It's a free pawn. I'm gonna take it, right? But then you're like, you know what? Let's just make something simple. Nothing is hanging. Everything is protected. Why waste? You know, you can spend 10-15 minutes to calculate that and see, but what do I do if he takes? But what if after that, you know, I want to take the rook, but this and that? No. Queen d7. He's done a really good job, and he didn't even spend much time. 2 minutes for that move. 3 pieces attacking that. That's very, very wise. Yeah. All right. Thanks again for the gifted subs, Elshan. Get some rest. Okay, let's move on to the next game. That one looks good for black. Was white able to build up any kind of idea here? Yeah, bishop e5 is a threat, but if you do it here, this is hanging, right? Or maybe f3 is hanging. Maybe I can take an f3, then you have queen b6 check. Let's see. If I go f3, you got this check. Oh no, but I have bishop e3. And the knight is gonna be lost. So you cannot do that. It seems that you might, but no. Besides, that pawn will be hanging as well later. So even if f3 wasn't working, white could just take that pawn. And I think, you know, this pawn and the dark square bishop is more valuable for black than taking this pawn in e5. It's very important to keep your fianchetto bishop to keep your position safe. So rook there. Here, here. The thing is that now, after knight g3, knight c6, black actually wants to take the pawn in e5 with the knight, I think. And white would love to make this move, but after pawn takes, both his queen and knight are attacked, so that's why he played queen to b3 to escape that potential discovered idea, and yeah. Go h3. h3, why play h3? He's gonna take. And also it's black's turn. White also has ideas of bishop d2 to c3. Yes, true, true. He does have those ideas. I wonder if black can just take. Take, take. I don't think he can take. Let's test this out. Take, take. Yeah, you cannot take. Is there gonna be? Yeah. Okay, okay. No, wait. Yes. Okay, okay. So I'm gonna show you guys a line. All right. This is a cute one. Very important. White played rook takes e4. Was this a good move? The answer is no, of course, right? X-ray. Black is gonna take advantage of that. So queen takes e1 and rook e1 checkmate. So be very careful with your king. King is the most important tonko for material that easily. All right, so I just wanted to show that because I thought it was cute. Also, I'm probably gonna clip some of these things and start posting more. So that was my way of saving a very short clip. It's kind of a cute mate. So obviously you cannot do that with white. So you are in fact potentially losing that pawn. And what is white's follow-up after knight takes e5? Is he planning on, because also I think you cannot do this intermediate move because he takes, and if you think you can do this, it's not gonna work again, right? Takes. And I think black can actually do the same as before, and that is queen takes e1, check, and grabs the bishop. So with two rooks and the bishop for the queen, okay, maybe you get that pawn, but then you'll lose this one very soon. Black is for choice in this position. Oh, wait. Knight takes e4 was actually played. Hopefully, white's not going for that line because it's not very good for them. The position will definitely be better for black, guys. Oh, we got a result. We got two results. Let's check it out. So this game ended in a draw. It's already been analyzed by the engine, so let's see what's happening. What was happening here? Rook d2. Okay. Ah. Oh, black is getting aggressive. Takes, takes. Uh-huh, okay. Okay, this is a cute move. This is a very cute move of getting rid of black's active pawn. And the players agreed on a draw here, which I guess makes sense because probably the continuation would have been takes, takes, takes. Or you could also take the rook. And then after takes, takes. But I would rather not allow check and lose that pawn, I think. I guess that can happen anyways. But at least I got my rook behind the d pawn. This is the pawn that I want to capture. So this endgame is very likely to end in a draw, despite the extra pawn for black. Because his king is going to get cut off with rook c8, rook c7, and takes there. Or, you know. That's an idea that can happen. I think black could have played a bit on, no? Don't you guys think he could have played more? Yeah, white can make mistakes here. I mean, maybe white would go for this, and actually I think this can be quite... I don't want to give that one. I think I want to give this one. So maybe I go here, you take, I take, and now you lose that pawn too. I think black has some chances. The rook takes d3 shocked him. I mean, it's a possibility. I don't know. I don't know for sure. But yeah. Maybe that's what happened. But okay, let's find the draw for white. So here, d6 average. When? First here, right? I mean, I can check you, so you won't go back, right? Or maybe you'll go back and try to go there. I don't like d6. Probably rook d7 and d6 and then take. Yes, that's an alternative. That's the way to go. But I would have tested white a bit more. You know, I think you should test it because you're the one with the extra pawn. You're the one who can do something here. He must have not realized he can go rook h2 or something, and I don't know. I would have tested him. Don't give your opponents, you know, besides black is the player with the higher rated. So, okay. All right. Draw. Fine. Some chances still there. This game also ended, and we had seen that white was able to win a pawn. And let's see how his technique helped him improve. This bishop b... Oh! Oh, no. He fell for this idea. Oh, this is cute. All right. So this is definitely cute. Bishop b5 is a blunder. Why is bishop b5 a blunder? White to move and win. And the idea is very cute, basically, because check, and if you take, we take back. And, you know, if you go here, you know, if you go to f8, you get mated. If you go here, you just lose your rook. And if you don't take at all and you go king e8, the problem is that now bishop takes b5, rook takes b5, trading rooks, and after the rook trades, simply f takes g7 and white promotes, finishing the game so fast. So really, really nice finish for white. Well done. Well done on that. Beautiful finish. Bishop b5 blunder because of f6. He probably just thought that now he got white, because if white had to trade there and then, you know, trade the bishops, this endgame, we got quite a bit of chances to hold with black. Because the king is getting in front of the majority. This rook can get active, probably like switching back, or maybe even play king e7, f6, trade a pawn. The rook being on 5th rank puts pressure here, you know. But yeah, I mean, he's giving him he missed that beautiful f6 move. I wonder if the Indian finds any other moves in that position after bishop b5. Oh wow, f6 is the only move. The only move that wins. That's crazy. Okay. The only move that wins. Wow. Okay, that's impressive. Okay, I'm sure he had he had seen it before when he played rook d4, but it's nice to kind of see it on the board. All right, so we have 4 remaining games. This is round 4 of this year's Alex Zelner Memorial and the 29th edition of the Space Coast Open. Wait. Things have changed here since we left off. There, I told you about that plan. I told you the black was... Oh. I thought I had there was a flag. Okay, so queen c3, a3. This allows for b4. And... yes, there's a round later this afternoon. The round will start at 2:30 p.m. And I'll probably be around... starting around 2:45, because we do have some delays, so I try to start once the games start showing, because otherwise it's a bit there's not much to do. Of course we can talk, but I usually give myself some time to rest and eat as well, like the players get a bit of rest in between the 2 rounds. But yeah, Taborich, oh, you look for more commentary? I think there's some changes with the informant. I was told that they are changing something, and they are Dylan, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. That's so kind of you. It's a great, it's, when I was a kid during this day, because I celebrate Easter. It's Orthodox Easter today. During this day when I was a kid, I would wake up, go to check what the rabbit had brought me. But now I got you guys to spend Easter with, and so the fact that you guys are here and being supportive of me being back to streaming is really, it's really nice. So I do appreciate all of you guys. Anyways. So that's my present. I just got my rabbit or bunny present for Easter. I don't know. In the US, when I told people about it, you see Easter bunnies, but it's not the same kind of idea. But in Europe, it's like or at least in Romania, that's So you have Saint Nicholas, which is December 6th, where you put your shoes by the door and you're getting small presents. Then you have Santa Claus, of course, on Christmas, and then you have Easter and your birthday. Maybe you can get something. When you get older, you don't get anything anymore. No more presents. Presents are gone. That's good to hear, Dylan. And I'm really happy that you got the job and things are going well. I hope at home too. And I like seeing your posts on Instagram with your family. It's always nice. So B takes. I don't know. Isn't White's king gonna get checkmated here sometime soon? I feel like White is gonna get checkmated, don't you think? Bishop f2. Queen f3. Of course, family is the most important. Do you want to know what's White's best move in this position? Cute mate. I just showed this for the mate, obviously I saw the mate. But anyways, Queen e4. White's best move, that's what I meant. I forgot to put the, Okay, so Queen e4. How is White's king not getting mated here? Do you guys see any ideas? Okay, this is, I mean, this is possible. Consider checks and captures. That's what we're told, right? Oh, I saw a way to win the queen. Okay. All right, this is gonna be another clip. Black to move and win the queen. How does he do it? Black to move and win the queen. Bishop e3. No. But you're close. You're really close. Not bishop e3. Now bishop e3. So you need to deflect the rook. But you can't really deflect it. If you go rook there, he's just gonna take it. But if okay. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Am I back? I should be back. Ah, I hate when that happens. I'm not back? I am back? I see that I'm online. I am. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened. This internet does it sometimes in the middle of the thing. Alright, so let's get rid of this move for a moment here so that we can show it. Black to move and win in this position. How do you do that? So the move is bishop here. The rook has to take, and now checky. Deflecting this rook. And after the capture, we win the queen. Wow. Wait! Oh my god! He played queen f6? No. No way. He didn't find bishop e1? GMG Jean-Chao! Ah. I'm shocked. I got no words. Come on. Black to move and win. Bishop e1, rook d1 is so nice. Just deflecting the rook and winning the queen. Wow. This is crazy. This is so crazy. I'm gonna be back, guys. Just one moment. I'll be back. Sorry about that. I just brought Regina. I just brought her. She was meowing, so I want to make sure. Oh, this was totally unexpected. Queen f6 was played. So now, white is escaping for a bit. Bishop b6, I mean, okay, there might still be some ideas, but it's not going to be a winning of the queen. Not at all. This was so unexpected. Wow. He's not going to be happy. He won't be happy at all. Okay. Let's check in with the other games. So here, okay, black was able to win an exchange, which is nice. But why did he go f4? Why did he go? I mean, he wants to open up his bishop, but he's got an extra pawn. There's no need to give up the pawn just yet, right? Yeah, but I'm not liking f4. I'm not liking f4 at all. Regina is here. This game is over. Okay, white probably realized that he can't take the bishop because of queen e1, so he must have miscalculated. But now he's down a piece, so that's what happened. Okay, with the piece down, black converted not long after. Okay, this was a nice tactic, and we got 3 games left, and a Regina, and a Regina joining us. So, see, now that we're looking at this endgame, you realize, and you're thinking, why did I give up the knight, my nice knight here in c5 for that light square bishop of black's? That wasn't really necessary, right? Could have held on to that. And this is probably gonna head for a draw, very, very likely. Very likely. Gigi, where are you going? Where are you going, Missy? Where are you going? I need to find another move for black, because I'm not liking f4 at all. It's Regina time. Couldn't black just take this pawn? Isn't this like an extra free pawn that he could have taken? Maybe he was thinking he can take it anytime. We got a tail in our face here, Regina. What are you doing, girly? What are you doing? Oh, she left. She left us. Okay, well, at least she came to say hi for a second. Black may have given up some of his advantage by playing this move as an attempt to open up that bishop, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at all. Grandmaster Zhu lost an incredible opportunity there. Once again, guys, I thought it was so cool because, you know, you see these kind of ideas, but you don't think it happens to you. But when you're seeing hanging pieces like this, you always have to have an open mind that something can happen. And here, something could have indeed happened if black had played bishop e1. There's nothing else to do, always forcing, deflecting the rook. Oops, sorry. Deflecting the rook, taking the queen, and maybe he just wasn't sure he can win this, but I mean, why not? Because still got a knight that's coming to f4, moves the queen over, starts pushing the e pawn. White's king is still standing. You know, there's also this check here. Black has so much to fight for here. It was not a very wise decision to go for this position instead, in my opinion. It looks like our decisive games went from decisive to something different in no time. It's not even clear anymore that we can... how we're gonna win. Right? It's not so easy to know what to expect, right? But they're getting low on time, which means we're going to see some mistakes, very likely, from both sides. I have the feeling this game will end in a draw. I haven't seen moves in a while. I don't think this is I think this is risk free for black. The knight should be better than the bishop. You know? Can black take here? Because this is not possible yet, of course, because of this tactic. But if we do move this bishop h3, that pawn is going to be weak. This pawn is going to be weak. Okay, maybe not in c3, because then the rook will be able to capture, but... I think if black is planning to play for a win, he definitely needs to take that pawn. What do you guys think? Where else are you going to move the rook? I guess technically you can set up a trap if you go rook f8. The trap being in case they want to take, you take the bishop. But yeah, he took the pawn, yeah. I mean, in my opinion, that was the move that made the most sense, you know? I mean, just take the pawn, since I don't even know why he played f4. He could have taken that pawn without playing f4, without giving up some material. So that's a draw. Did black lose a lot of his advantage in this position? I'm thinking maybe queen e4. Block the passed pawn. And then my plan with white would be here, 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 and try to figure out how I get c5 in. Create a passed pawn and make it difficult for him. Takes, takes, takes. How do we assess this position? I like white. Maybe not so much. That's gonna be hard to play, but of course black is up a pawn, but how is he gonna be able to improve? Maybe he has to start marching his pawns. King g7, g5, h5, g4. Something like this. Can't start with the central pawns yet, but he can start with the others. So he wants to take that bishop. And you cannot really move it from there. So you're gonna have to give up the bishop. Okay. Our line is happening. Now we gotta figure out where to move this rook. Should we move it here because it's a tempo? And again, set up this trap that he cannot take because we're taking c3. Of course, white will not fall for that, but you start by chasing the queen away. No moves in this game for a while, so maybe they accepted a draw there. Okay, king c4. So we got 2 games remaining. We got the Grandmaster, Zhu Chao versus Marvin Gao, and we got this game between Vincent Stone and Van Joseph. Joseph did go for the other pawn as well. I wasn't sure if that was capturable, but I guess it is. But now, how does white take e6? Because that's a pawn that white wants to win. Maybe queen. If I go queen here, there's rook f5. Oh, wait, what I'm talking about? Oh my god. Rook f5 is not possible. We just take deflection. I was talking about deflection earlier, and it seems like I'm missing my own kind of deflections. This game is quite interesting. You got the exchange, but... and 2 pawns, but the bishop pair could be very unpleasant to deal with. Bishop f3. If only black could somehow magically, you know, get their bishop on this diagonal, like right there, you know. Get rid of that one, trade it off, trade some more pieces, and then you should have plenty of advantage to win here. Okay, rook f5, queen e3. Can we go rook e8 now to protect the pawn? Why not? We have plenty of extra material. Plenty. Okay, so black ended up taking that extra pawn on bishop c7. And now, white needs to try to create some counterplay. Either activate his queen or start pushing these pawns to create a passed pawn to make it difficult for black to do something. Because I think black now with the bishop in c7 wants to go d5 since e5 is protected. So maybe you can go, but c4 could be met by d5 anyways, right? Maybe you can go c5. Might play king a6. Where's he going? Oh, he probably wants to march this pawn, but that allows some checks, which I'm unhappy about. There's this check, there's this check, there's that check. Actually, wait, doesn't that lose a piece? No, because you can go king a7. After this check, if you go king b5, you're losing the knight. So you need to go king a7. I don't feel comfortable for white in this position. His king is just stuck. How can we try to create... Oh, can we go here? We're threatening check queen. And the knight. So you gotta protect it. And now we go here. This cannot be a position that white escapes from very easily. The knight looks trapped. You can't go here or here because obviously pawn, bishop. And the only square that I'm saying is this, but then we can have a discovered check and take the knight. Ah, and this happened. All right. Queen c8 check, and black may be on his way to win this game. He missed that opportunity to win the queen, but he's got something even better. Okay, no more changes here, so I assume that game ended in a draw. Now about this one. Queen e3. How is black going to improve further? Does he need to keep the e6 pawn, or can he just let white capture it? I think he can let white capture it. It's not that big of a deal, right? Queen d7, very nice. Okay, this is a very strong move that threatens two things, as I already said, and there's no way that I can see for white to cover both. So black is on the verge to win his game, and that leaves us with this game 2. I had to send a message just to make sure, because I haven't seen changes in a while. Okay, I sent a message about it. We'll see. But I definitely want some pawn pushes. It's very important. Push your pawns. Push them. Like, push them, baby, like Grandmaster Yasser says. What is black thinking about so much? There's no... Is he worried? Oh, okay, he's playing queen g5. Okay. So he was definitely worried about h6. But the bishop was hanging, so I don't think that was a thing to worry about, but okay. So what happens now if we trade? And which pawn should we take? Probably this one, because then I take here. Black might not really win this anymore. He's got the exchange, yeah, but one pawn fell, second pawn is about to fall. This one is in trouble, and white has the bishop pair. I don't like queen g5 at all. Though, you know, the thing is, black may be playing, thinking that white might not want to trade. So he could think, okay, white definitely doesn't want to trade pieces, so he's going to avoid the trade, and then, you know, he doesn't really have a good square for the queen. So if you take it by elimination, you don't really have many moves. Looks like a draw has been set for this game, so the two players have agreed on a draw on that one. This looks like game over for white. And that leaves us with one final game, this one, where anything can happen. Anything, literally. I'm actually surprised both players have that much time left. It's probably because... Or maybe it's not that much time. So board 2 is still underway. Board 1 should update soon, too, probably. What a day, guys. Like, it started pretty straightforward. I'd say it was quite equal for a while on many of the games. Very balanced positions by all players, including those that were playing higher rated. But some interesting results, like some change of direction from the game has happened in many of these games. So board 2 is still playing. Board 2 is still happening, guys. Is still there. So rook there, putting pressure in f2. So now, I guess black's attempt is, in case you take, pawn takes, and then he's thinking he will take here, but the more trades happen, the more white has chances to draw this. I think there are big chances for white to draw this game. This happened. So which pawn should white take? a6 or e6? What do you guys think? I guess he played bishop d4. He didn't want to give that pawn up. I think he could have, because, you know, he can hide, right? Or he can take, and that covers f1, so there's no check. Bishop d4. Okay. This gets to be interesting because, on the one hand, I like that he protected f2 not to let black to take it, but on the other hand, I think he won't be able to take that pawn anymore, and that would have been important because white would have created a very unpleasant pass pawn. You always have to think for what you can create for yourself. Bishop e3. Okay, so he's blocked his rook now. That pawn is not an issue. So black can probably protect, well, but then takes. Here, here. Or g4 is an option for, no, rook b8, okay. I think bishop takes a6 will happen. And black will capture here. And it remains to be seen if black will be able to win this position. Bishop a6 was played. Oh, looks like there were a couple more moves that were played in this game. Queen e4. Okay, so white found some way. Oh, queen e4, I was only thinking queen h1. Right, queen e4. But now this pawn just marches. Because I don't know where white went with the king over there. White did not start pushing his pawn, which is what he probably should have done. And black now can just play e3, I think. Because any check to try to take the pawn, your knight will be hanging and then you will stay on mate. So you're kind of bound to stay and protect your knight, which means both of your pieces, the queen and the knight, have gotten to be quite passive. Or quite useless, because you can't do it. So, sorry, anything. This position is very interesting. I'm not sure black will win this. White needs to switch over to bring the bishop back on this diagonal fast. But if he goes bishop e2, then there will be bishop e4 check, probably. So maybe he can go bishop f1 to go king g1, bishop g2. And I think if he trades that bishop, the game will probably end in a draw. What's it gonna be in this position? Where should white move the bishop? He moved it to f1 or no? He did not. Those were my ideas. Rook f6. Yeah, black did play, so now if you check, like I said, I think king g8, you take the pawn, I take your knight, we check, and then GG. Very, very interesting games. I know maybe the tournament is not so strong, but once again, as I said previously, they are strong enough players that you know, they try to get their best games against everyone, try to score as many points as possible to try to have a chance at winning one of the prizes that the organizers are offering. There's some really good prizes for this tournament if we're looking at the them. $20,000 guaranteed, with first place 2,000, 1,600, and 300. And there are also 2 prizes under 2,400 and 3 prizes under 2,200. That's a very nice, you know, nice prize fund. As for the pairings and standings before the round, I already showed this, but just to do a review. So Zhu Zhangchao was the only player with 3 out of 3, and then there were 6 players with 2.5, all the way till number 7, and then a few players with 2 points, and then 1.5. So if he wins this game, he's probably really close to being guaranteed first place. And he should be winning it. Oh, I guess my engine got turned on. All right. And now let us switch back to this and check this game out. So after bishop c4, how is black? Okay, check makes sense. Actually, I thought the bishop had to come here. Now we got some mating ideas. I don't know how white is planning to defend here. King h3, okay. Yeah, if you went king g1, rook h6, that's mate. So if king h3, I wonder, so if you play bishop f3, he takes, and you probably won't have mate. Okay, check happened. Now probably e2. If you go knight d3, check, and very likely promotion. So maybe not immediately because we give up that pawn, but black is on the verge of winning this game for sure. How's black gonna win this? I don't see a mate yet. I really wish I could play bishop f3, but g5 is hanging, and I don't really want to go rook g6. Bishop f5. Maybe allows g4. Not so clear, and black is running low on time. Does anyone in the chat have any idea on how this game? What about check g4 and then come back, because then you have rook f3 check? And that capture won't be possible because this will be hanging, so we'll be happy with black. If we take f2, then there's rook h2 mate, or rook h2 g2. What about g4 pawn sack? Your plan is what? Check? The problem is I want g4, king g3, you know? Maybe a draw? No, I don't think black will give a draw at this point, but he played rook b4. Maybe he wants to follow Crispy's decision or idea of going g4, but he's trying to take control over it first to have a discover check. So you gotta be careful where you move that bishop. Maybe you just need to put it in e2, or else g4 will happen. And then when you take bishop discovered attack to win your bishop, could put an end to this game. Okay, black ended up taking h2 as well. It's now looking very good for white in this game. So if you go bishop e2, what do we plan on doing with black? Maybe you're right. Maybe it will be a draw. Bishop e2 was played. There are tactics. There definitely are tactics there. Black might try to get this king on a mate in this game. Okay, so let's think about tactics. Maybe we can just bring the king too, because, you know, kings are helpful when trying to make them, and when you're trying to make them and you don't see, you know, that they're super restricted. Check rook h6. But I don't see what else you can do after. That's why I put the bishop in e2. Because with the bishop in e2, I'm safe. Yeah, when the bishop moves, but until it moves, how do you make it move? You can't really make it move. I still think the king has to be brought into the game. Bishop 8, king h7, king h6. Discovered chicken mate, yes. I would love a discovered chicken mate too. I just don't know how. I just don't see anything after this. Oh. I didn't see any discovered check, you know? Nothing. Bishop f3. What? But if this bishop gets traded, how are you gonna progress this? I just put my king back to g2 and I just sit. Oh no, that could have been a big mistake by black. And it's very possible that this game... Wait, I can also take in g5. I can take, you take, I take. And then I just put my bishop on here. Keep my pawn protected. Oh man, I think black just messed up. I don't know exactly how to improve here, but that's just a mess up. Maybe you just do this to give them the move to see what they play, you know? Because if they just, let's just pretend they move the queen. The rook's already there. Check. Check. check and take the bishop. So I feel like he would have been kind of in zugzwang. Maybe you're right about that check. Or king h7, just give them the move, see what they do. Oh man, this game might end in a draw, guys. After having an exchange up and then a bunch of pawns, the power of the bishop pair seems to have potentially prevailed. e4 was played by black. But okay, I just bring my bishop back here, keep that protected. And you're not gonna win this in a million years. You have no way. You have no way to trade. Because you have separated pawns. If you had them connected and you can go f5, g4, f4, chase the bishop away, maybe somehow you can get something. But this way, I'm predicting this game is gonna end in a draw. Well, this one should be game over soon because he trades the queen and promotes that. That's pretty good. We'll stay a few more minutes on this game and see if white blunders, but I have the feeling it might be a draw. Can we look at bishop g2? Bishop g2 when? When bishop g2? Oops. There was no bishop g2 possible. There was a possibility. There was a possibility here. Or did you mean this? Maybe you meant this. King g5. I still don't see how you can mate. King h7. I can check you. Oh. I know, but it's there. It's in your territory, but you have no way to mate it. It's crazy. It's just because he still has some pieces. This game is gonna end in a draw, my friends. I have the feeling it will. Okay, black won white's knight, so now all he has to do is move the queen over and promote. That game is over. Well, this one will eventually be over because I don't see any way to. The only way you're gonna try to win this if somehow at some point you can just trade off into king and pawn in game. But I don't think that's possible. Even if you bring in the king, yeah, you can't. What a game. Black had his chances. He missed some opportunities, unfortunately, and is not looking good at all. Okay, white will have a couple of checks here. There must have been a win. Yeah, but earlier I think there was one. Here, I think this is over. We can just... I definitely think trading queens was wrong. Like, that's one thing. And f4. I think this is a big, big no-no. I mean, you have extra material. Exchanging a pawn up. Just take an a5 if you want to, or bring another rook to try to take here, but not f5. There's no need to bring that bishop into play by giving up that pawn. You can take this without giving up the f-pawn. You can always take it by going there. At some point, not right now, obviously, because if you go bishop g8, I take an h6. But just kind of like, because even if he takes and queen takes h6, this is always a move which I don't know if Black forgot about it or what happened. All right, so board 1 was a win. And I think there was an improvement possibly here with king h7. Slowly bring the king up a bit. Protect g5. And if he takes, you take. So I think it was very important for black to protect there. He can also bring the rook on the h file that way. That way, you know, the king would be mated. So basically my winning plan was here, switch the rook over, that's protected. If you go to g4, now I have a discovered checkmate. So just bring the king there. But this will be a draw. I mean, we could technically stay a few more minutes to look at it, but since I believe it's going to be a draw and next round starts in about an hour, I think I'm going to stop the stream here and be back in about an hour. I should take some break, get something to eat. I haven't eaten much, only took some snacks. At some point, I think my blood sugar dropped. So I'm going to send you guys on a raid to someone who is streaming. Do you guys prefer to go to Lile Korice or Dina Belenkaya? Whom would you rather go to? Bring the king to d3. Sure, you can bring it, but it's gonna give you some checks, you know. It's not gonna do so much. Okay. I'm gonna send you guys to Dina. I hope to see you guys later in about an hour. I'm gonna take some rest and have some lunch, and I will be back. There's very little chance that this game will end in anything but a draw, but if it does, I'll certainly check in back with you guys, and we can see what happened, of course. But if not, go enjoy Dina's stream and see you in about an hour and a bit. Bye for now.